WTOL-TV, Toledo. Straight from the newsroom, this is Toledo 11 News.
Just another day on the job for a YMCA worker.
Until she came across this.
Were set up and students were painting welcome signs.
It wasn't quite the thrill of the open road, more like the parking lot of Perrysburg Commons.
It will make its debut on the
just about the only event making news today.
2,000 carryout orders were handled.
Hey there, I'm Dan Cummins and welcome into the WTOL 11 Vault. It's a show where we dive into our archives to share the stories from Toledo 11 throughout the years to you. We're talking about this week in 1991. So it is March 15th. George H.W. Bush is president. CDs are becoming more and more popular. Terminator 2 is the top grossing movie of the week. So let's not say hasta la vista, baby, just yet. Instead, I'll be back in just a moment.
Last April, Bowling Green's Merry Madness and Crazy Frenzy parties got too mad and too frenzied for local authorities.
Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael, the four musketeers of the 1990s. These pizza-eating, karate-kicking, oversized turtles are back in business.
The sweet signs of spring in Ohio.
It's a time for heroes in Gibsonburg. Shoot is back from hospital duty in England, supporting Operation Desert Storm.
Former Olympic gymnast Kathy Rigby is flying high on her most recent success on Broadway.
Farmer Roger Sarver likes what he sees when surveying his 200 acres of winter wheat. Mark Smith likes what he sees when looking at shooters and downtown Toledo's riverfront.
The first day of spring and the walleye fishermen are out in full force.
All right, so it's March 15th, 1991. Dirty Dancing has only been out for just over 3 years. Another story about the older generation trying to shut down some fun is playing out in real time. Julie Malkin takes us to Bowling Green to hear both sides of the aisle, including the City of Bowling Green Mayor, Ed Miller.
Last April, Bowling Green's Merry Madness and Crazy Frenzy parties got too mad and too frenzied for local authorities. Students forbidden from drinking on campus went off campus to blow off steam.
A car was pushed over and furniture was being burned on the street, and lots of drinking was going on out on the street.
This year, BGSU students want to move their pre-finals party to downtown Bowling Green near Main and Worcester Streets. Now there's a confrontation on tap.
We cannot have any kind of beer, liquor that is being drunk on the city streets. That's against the law. It's against the law in any city in this state.
There is no need to be selling beer, for instance, on a street corner, because the bars are all pretty centrally located in that same area. Students that want to drink can go to the bar.
Bowling Green's government has all but ruled out a downtown bash. Some merchants agree.
A year-end party, non-alcoholic, should be held on campus. I just don't think it's good from a safety standpoint.
But one of the businesses that would be in the middle of the party isn't afraid of students downtown.
I can understand a lot of the concern that's going on, but for us, we would stay open and we would really do a lot of business that night, I think.
Mayor Miller wants students to devise an alcohol-free event for the whole community. But there's only 6 weeks left till the madness, and despite regular meetings between students and the community, the chances of a workable solution are pretty flat. Julie Malkin, Toledo 11 News, Bowling Green.
You may know Julie Malkin. She's a spokesperson for Lucas County Children's Services now and an essential part of our Gift of Joy toy drive here at WTOL 11. On March 16th, 1991, she spent the day in Gibsonburg saluting alongside an entire community, welcoming home some heroes.
It's a time for heroes in Gibsonburg. Today, in his own hometown, Staff Sergeant Robert Shute is a hero.
It's nice to see it. It's really nice to see the people care, and it's good to be home.
Shute is back from hospital duty in England, supporting Operation Desert Storm.
Welcome home. Thank you.
PFC Barbara DeAngelis is also a hero. She's home from military intelligence duty in Saudi Arabia and heading back to Fort Bragg tomorrow.
This is awesome. I was totally surprised. I didn't know this was happening.
So Gibsonburg, in small-town tradition, is rolling out the red carpet for their local heroes.
We're closer. The people, I don't know, we've just had so much love for them and shed a lot of tears for them. And when they come home, like I said, they are going to get a very, very special welcome and a heartwarming welcome.
The support is certainly there. Rob and Barb are among the 24 men and women Gibsonburg sent to war. Their names hang proudly at Hoy's Again restaurant downtown.
They're all Gibsonburg High School graduates. It's where I went to high school, and Rob's my cousin.
Oh, they've been super, just super. Everybody's been so supportive, just wonderful.
Gibsonburg residents say they'll give similar welcomes as each soldier comes home. For a hero in a small town, it's the thing to do.
Here in 2025, it's almost impossible to lock your keys in your car. Either some sensor won't let you or there's an app to open the doors. But on March 16th, 1991, it happened. And at that time, Toledo police would come out and help you. Though the department was getting ready to stop that service, here's Evan Rosen.
They're locked out in the cold. The Toledo cops can't help because the Slim Jim tool is useless on this new car. So this is a useless police call. That's one of several reasons why Toledo Police Chief Marty Felker can relax, comfortable with his decision.
Do any damage, and we're finding that we cannot get into the cars to get them unlocked. So with increased calls for service with that problem, we're having to discontinue except under certain circumstances.
With the Toledo police getting out of the lockout business, why not revert to an ancient barbaric method of opening a car door? The coat hanger method.
That's fine in theory, but in practice the coat hanger is as useless as the Slim Jim, at least with newer cars.
This is the Slim Jim with a special service tool.
Locksmith Mark Ames looks forward to a boost in business. Mark says these days it takes an expert like him to penetrate a new car's defense system.
They're putting on all kinds of guards and preventative measures to keep us out.
A simple Slim Jim isn't necessarily enough.
No, not anymore. That would only open a tenth of the cars on the market today.
Toledo police are following the lead of many cities around the country who turn down lock calls. And as the new era dawns, an age-old Toledo police courtesy ends. Evan Rosen, Toledo 11 News.
Oh, we're doing a story on...
All right, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. It's like nothing was happening, but we already did a full episode of The Vault following the rainbow to the golden St. Patty's stories over the decades. Check it out right now on WTOL 11+. So, March 18th, 1991, we're talking loose flannel, baggy clothes. They say fashion trends like that come back around, but so do some news stories. So how's this? Orange barrels on I-475. Lane restrictions between Central and Airport Highway. Work on the Anthony Wayne Trail. You might think we're heading to Stephen Jackson with your traffic tracker, but this is Mel Veitch, 33 years ago.
The sweet signs of spring in Ohio. Construction pylons, flashing lights, and one-lane traffic for miles. The construction season is underway, adding time and aggravation to across-town travel.
My wife drives downtown every day, and she's not too happy with this, but she uses the trail every day.
And the construction crews have been gearing up all winter to handle angry motorists.
We got our signs up and stuff, and people get watching us instead of paying attention. They're driving, and that makes them mad.
These are the major construction projects you'll need to watch out for during spring and early summer. Portions of the Anthony Wayne Trail are being reduced to one lane for resurfacing. That project is expected to finish up by late June. Also look for lane restrictions on Reynolds Road from Glendale to Holland. Crews will be resurfacing that stretch through late August. And Interstate 475 between Central and Airport Highway will undergo resurfacing work until late July. Also look for tie-ups in Oregon around Star Avenue and also on the high-level bridge. Transportation officials say motorists will not be as frustrated by the traffic tie-ups as they were last summer.
Most of the projects we're going to have during the summer are going to be resurfacing jobs that certainly are going to have an effect on traffic, but they won't have the effect that some of the interstate projects did in the past.
Transportation officials say you won't have to dread real traffic tie-ups until the summer of '92. That's when major construction will start on the I-280-75 interchange. Consider this an early warning. Melissa Veitch, Toledo 11 News.
From those orange barrels, we're talking gold medals, that is. Kathy Rigby was a two-time Olympian, a World Cup all-around champ, and the first real American female gymnastics star on television. March 19th, 1991, she took her talent to the stage and took flight with Toledo 11's Janice Lane in the audience.
I'm flying, nothing will stop me.
Former Olympic gymnast Kathy Rigby is flying high on her most recent success on Broadway and now on the road as Peter Pan.
I didn't even step out on the stage till 11 years ago, so I had 6 or 7 years of training before I ever went out. And it's because I loved it. I fell in love with performing, and not unlike gymnastics. And it's been, fortunately, we hit the Olympics of show business when we went to Broadway this last year. And
best known as the first American woman to win an Olympic medal in gymnastics, Rigby's won critical acclaim since first playing Peter Pan in 1987. Yet one of her biggest challenges is taking care of family on the road as Mrs. Tom McCoy. Her husband is producer of the show.
When I grew up in athletics, I was traveling a lot and I was doing a lot, but somebody else took the responsibility for thinking and feeling and talking for me. I try not to do that with my own kids.
2 of her 4 children are shown with her here in Toledo. A tutor helps 8-year-old Teresa and 5-year-old Catelyn during study time with children in the cast.
A lot of people have said, well, it's like the old one-room schoolhouse, and it is, except it's in the 1991 environment instead of the 1891 environment.
All right.
Okay, that's for lunch for you and Teresa?
Can you kiss Teresa? I'll see you.
Although few youngsters can truthfully say that their mommy flies, whether in a gym or on stage. In Teresa's eyes, she's just mommy.
Fun because I get to see my mom. I must be a sight lovely to see.
Janice Lane, Toledo 11 News.
It was March 20th, 1991. The Billboard Top 100 boasted songs like Rescue Me by Madonna, Hold You Tight by Tara Kemp, and Signs by Tesla. Also a time to spot a sign of spring. The frost had cleared and the fields were full, so Dick Berry headed to Bowling Green to check on the winter wheat.
Farmer Roger Sarver likes what he sees when surveying his 200 acres of winter wheat. It's growing and growing good.
It looks to me like an ideal environment for the wheat crop.
It's more yield for you then too, huh?
Hopefully, yes.
Not bad, considering a wet fall forced most farmers here to plant late. The result? Fewer acres grow this spring, 45,000 compared to 60,000 last year at this time. Roger says the secret to his success is no-till farming.
At minimum water standing, and I think the prospects look good.
And with no-till, there's minimum compaction. There's not going to be as much water really sitting around, right?
That's right.
At this point, wheat prices appear stable, but farmers are still not out of the woods yet. Weather will be watched closely in the coming months.
Wheat likes cool weather. Most people don't realize it, but our wheat doesn't mature here. It dies usually because it gets too hot too quick.
The harvest isn't until July, but at least for the time being, it looks as though Wood County farmers will be well rewarded for their wintertime of work. Dick Berry, Toledo 11 News, Bowling Green.
Another sign of the season is on March 20th, the annual walleye run. Fishermen from across the region line the banks of the mighty Maumee. Mel Veitch had never been fishing, so she decided to try it out. She ended up eating well that night.
The first day of spring, and the walleye fishermen are out in full force.
Yeah. Ooh. Oops. Come on, baby.
Trouble is, there's more fishermen in the water than fish.
Well, I haven't seen very many fish come out. Beautiful day, but a lot of fishermen, but not many fish yet.
Okay. Up. Whoa, okay. Got that one way out.
Temperature's just right. Bored. Need something to do.
I think I got something. I got a piece of seaweed.
Most admit they'll use any excuse to hit the shoreline.
Trying to escape the housework, let's put it that way. I'd rather be doing this than working.
You got some kind of snag. I think it's some kind of foreign plant.
And then there's some out here who just like to socialize.
My buddy likes to go fishing, so I come along with him. Might catch it.
Yeah, there he is. Basically, I come out here to watch other people catch them because I never catch them.
But then there were some lucky ones, just enough to whet the appetite. And then there were those who were not so lucky. Okay, so field and scream I'm not, okay?
Hi, welcome to Burger King. Can I take your order, please?
Yeah, I'd like 2 fish sandwiches, please.
1990 marked an election year. Incumbent Governor Dick Celeste hit his term limit, so the race shook out to find Cleveland Mayor George Voinovich up against Ohio Attorney George Anthony J. Celebrezzi Jr. Voinovich won handily and headed to Toledo on March 21st, 1991. Julie Malkin caught up with him just a few months after he took office.
When Columbus came to Northwest Ohio was ready with a long wish list for Governor George Voinovich and his cabinet.
The continuation of the projects that have been started on Route 2 are a necessity. The continuation and absolutely what we hear from all of our counties to the west of us is that we want to have Route 24 refixed.
More than 100 local leaders stated their case to the governor at the University of Toledo. Tired of being ignored financially, they have specific proposals to rejuvenate elements as specific as Portside.
It makes a lot of sense to bring in something that is family. And the Center for Science and Industry is family. It's the ability for families to come together.
Voinovich had campaigned heavily in Northwest Ohio, promising to pay special attention to this part of the state. Local leaders hope that this time around those promises will translate into money.
We're going to be able to hire 100 more people.
The governor made a small move in that direction, presenting a $400,000 check toward the expansion of the Port Authority docks in East Toledo. The money supplements federal, city, and private funds, but it had the desired effect among dry dock workers.
The governor promised he would create more jobs for the shipyard, and I think it's going to fulfill that promise.
This is just plain quality control on a project that's already been
and measurements. Yeah.
Voinovich sees Northwest Ohio's future in places like the Edison Institute, public-private partnerships creating high-tech industries.
It will be. It definitely will be part of our program, and it is. We made it. We continued the commitment here. This is an area that did not receive cuts.
And in true political fashion, Voinovich promises more if Northwest Ohio gets its act together.
If Toledo and Lucas County and Northwest Ohio can develop a set of priorities and we'll work with them, we're going to be able to 3 or 4 years from now say, as a result of our coming together and working, we have made some significant progress.
In March of 1990, we learned never to pay full price for late night pizza. A year later, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were back with new wisdom, a new movie, a new secret, the secret of the ooze. Al Smith set out to learn whether the film was a little too quiet or a little too rough.
Awesome! Yeah! Touchdown! Yeah!
Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael, the 4 musketeers of the 1990s. These pizza-eating, karate-kicking, oversized turtles are back in business. The Secret of the Ooze opens in 2,500 theaters nationwide, enough maybe to handle the hordes of expected fans.
Part 1 was good. I figured Part 2 might be good too.
I like karate and they made me laugh.
Combat cold cuts!
Critics were not laughing at the original Turtles flick. They say it was too violent. So this time, filmmakers claim they've toned down the fight scenes without taking the punch out of the punchline.
And I think we've taken out of their weapons that they normally have and have given them other objects that they find at hand.
As you can see, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have taken top billing once again. Last year, the urban crime fighters earned a shell-shocking $135 million at the box office, the 4th highest grossing movie in the country. And now they're back for more. New characters are introduced while the old nemesis Shredder has been resurrected for more good versus evil action and adventure. And let's not forget the new Ninja Rap track by rapper Vanilla Ice. With Turtles 2, producers hope to create the same movie and money magic as the first. And with a $20 million budget, moviegoers better see green.
It's fun to watch and they're funny.
But at this movie theater, so far, people have been lining up more for popcorn than for turtle duck soup. Al Smith, Toledo 11 News.
Finally, we're talking development along Toledo's riverfront, another topic that's been a lot of talk over the years. And while we've seen success recently, it's taken a lot of work to get there. Dick Berry takes us to March 23rd, 1991, a time when potential investors are looking at one particular property.
Mark Smith likes what he sees when looking at shooters and downtown Toledo's riverfront. He represents Thunderdome Enterprises, a Detroit firm that develops entertainment venues.
It somewhat reminds me of Detroit in somewhat as far as the Renaissance Center goes in that area. It's a shame that it's not going right now.
But it may soon. Smith and other investors toured Shooters to check out its business potential. The game plan is to swing open the doors here in time for, and only for, the busy summertime season.
We probably end up maybe leasing to another operator just for the summer months, because it's kind of rough for us to come all the way up here just to operate for 4 or 5 months. It makes it rough. If we have somebody local that can be here and looking after it, it'll make a big difference.
Burge is confident a deal can be cut. The city also has a say in this, since the city owns Portside.
I feel very confident that Shooters will be open this summer.
How about the rest of Portside?
Now, there are no plans to open the rest of Portside at this particular point.
But the mayor adds he still hopes Portside can be reopened as a branch of a popular Columbus-based science museum.
So negotiations to reopen Shooters are now underway. Mel Burge says he should know within a week if you'll be able to sit at Shooters outside bar this summer and enjoy a drink.
And that's a wrap on this week's Ride Through the Time Machine. March 1991 had it all. Madonna ruling the charts, New Jack City hitting theaters, and everyone debating if The Silence of the Lambs was the scariest flick ever. Meanwhile, the Gulf War was winding down. Rodney King's beating sparked national outrage. A wild week, no doubt. So grab your Walkman, pop in a cassette. We'll catch you next time. Same place, same vibe here on The Vault. Stay fresh, stay fly, and stay tuned.